So dear students, in tune with the first video, let us now continue to see the different steps for news report writing. So for news report, the first step, collect all the information. The first step to creating a report would be that you should have all the possible information required to write a perfect report. Now where will you get the information? From your imagination. The points will be provided with the question. You have to go through those points, try and understand what the question says, and then do a mental preparation for that report. Now remember that report writing, the question carries 20 marks and the word limit is 300 words. And you are supposed to finish this within a maximum time of 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. Do not spend more than this time for this question. Why I say 25 minutes is because ideally the time should be 30 minutes, but then you also have to write a separate, attempt a separate question. Question number 3 will be your proposal writing. So you have to save time for that also. So 25 minutes should be your target time, and you have to therefore prepare yourself mentally first before you begin with the report writing. Remember that report writing is also a kind of composition, and a proper planning is most essential in order to write an effective report. Collect all the information you can about the topic you are writing your report on. The research will be of great help. Now this research is your mental research. I should say that you have to think about the different possibilities, and you have to think about the different ideas, think about the different concepts, and then try to arrange them mentally first, and then in proper order put them down in writing. The research will be of great help, so be thorough with it without fail. Going through real reports from newspapers, I told you in the previous video also that report writing, if you want to excel in report writing, you have to practice. And for practicing, you need to read the daily English newspaper and listen to the English news bulletin on a daily basis. Plus, merely reading and listening will not help. You have to practice writing. You must write. Take pen and paper. Find time to sit down with a question in front of you and try to pen down the report and try to practice. If you practice, like they say, practice makes a person perfect. Going through real reports from newspapers, therefore, is very essential. It will be of great help to you for creating the best reports. Now, the second step is decide on the headline or title of the report. Once you have all the information you need, decide on the headline for your report. Now, as I told you in the previous video, in IAC English language paper, report writing question is question number 2, and it carries 20 marks, and sometimes the question carries a title which you have to use. At other times they may not give you a title, and you have to think up a title, a suitable one for your report. So here it is, decide on the headline. If the title is not provided, if the headline is not provided in the question, then you have to decide for your report. While doing this, remember that your headline should match what you are writing in the report, which means that it should be relevant. One glance at the headline and your reader should be able to understand what you are trying to say through your report. I have already discussed this in detail in the previous video. If you see that video and if you read through the notes provided there, you will understand what I mean to say. Now step 3, byline and dateline. This also I have discussed in the previous video. Byline is something that comes below the headline of the article or the report, where the writer's name is mentioned. I told you that you must write, after leaving a line, first you write the title, then leave a line, then write the byline. That means by, then hyphen or colon, and then your full name. That is your first name, your middle name, and your surname. If you don't have a middle name, first name and surname, but it has to be your complete name. Then date line. Now this date line consists of the date the report was written. Now here, this is something which is part of the introduction, and this has to be written from near the margin on the left hand side. It begins first with the place, then a comma, then the date. Suppose today is 25th April, you write 2/5/25, then April or APR, then put a full stop if you are abbreviating, then put a colon and continue in the same line with the first line of the introduction paragraph. This will make it clear as to who wrote the report and when it was written exactly. So the byline tells us who wrote the report and the dateline tells us when it was written. Since the news must have already reached most of your readers through the internet, make sure that you have the right amount of information put in the report and the points that might not be present on the internet for them. People want to know a little more than what is already available in the electronic media. That's why people still have the habit of reading the newspaper, because the newspaper gives you the hard copy of the news, and a report in the newspaper therefore is still very important for many people in this world. And that's the reason why newspapers have not gone out of business, even if television news channels have come up. So many news channels are giving us the daily news, the breaking news, but still you can see that the sales of newspapers, print media has not gone down. So that's the reason why, if you want to become a journalist in future, or if you want to be able to at least score well in your language paper in your +2, you need to know how to write a proper hard copy report. Now, step 4, the report itself. Your report should include the introduction, the body and the final conclusion. I told you in the previous video also, make several paragraphs, 4 or 5 paragraphs minimum. Introduction paragraph should be short, to the point, and should answer these questions. Once again I repeat, the 5 W's and a single H. I have highlighted them with green so that you can see and remember. So what are the 5 W's? Once again I repeat, who, what, when, where, why, and 1 H, that is how. This should be enough for your reader to understand everything you want to say to them about the situation. That comes in the first paragraph, that is the introduction of the report. It begins with a catchy sentence or a question, something that takes the reader by surprise, and then these 5 W's and 1 H, as I told you in the previous video as well. And then make several paragraphs, as I told you, according to the points. The points are always in ISC report writing question. The points are always arranged in a proper sequence, so you don't have to worry about arranging them. Just follow the proper same sequence as in which they are given. Just keep on expanding them, amplifying them, elaborating them, giving details, and then finally reach the last paragraph of your report, that is the conclusion. Suggest necessary action if needed. This last paragraph, especially when you are reporting about something which can be improved upon, something which has happened, some event where there were some drawbacks or some shortcomings, you can always suggest a few necessary improvements. That can only come in the last paragraph. The conclusion should be a critical paragraph, where you can make a positive criticism. Better not to make negative criticism. Nowadays journalism is very acidic, and journalists are often found making a lot of negative criticism when you see the media, when you read the newspaper, news reports and articles. But you are not expected to do that. You are supposed to only politely mention some improvements and leave the rest to your reader to decide. For example, if it is a report that demands action from the public, so it can be suggested, you could give some suggestive ideas, so the public will automatically pick up the cue and will react accordingly. But nowhere should it be any kind of provocation. Nowadays, because of this COVID-19 scare, you have seen what was happening in the social media. You have seen how the police have started taking action against people posting fake news and creating a disturbance in the society. So such things are not expected from a reporter. A reporter should be authentic. A reporter should be truthful, honest, and should give the actual picture, the realistic picture of things, and not exaggerate anything and not provoke the public to do something negative. So your reaction should always be positive reaction with suggestions for improvement. So critical remarks can also be included. So that's about all. I think now report writing, especially news report writing, will not be a problem for you. I am going to upload the PDF files of one sample report, sample news report, and also the PDF file of the previous video, so that you can go through, because that is more detailed and it has all the important points mentioned in it. So you can go through, and as I told you, I want you to write 5 different types of reports. I've already given the homework in the last language class. You must complete these 5 reports, one per week. One report should be completed per week, so that in 5 weeks you are able to finish 5 reports. I will be giving you some language task in between, but then that could be more of grammar or maybe something shorter. So I will let you know next week. As of now, for this week, only this much. Thank you very much.